Hey guys, old age makeup this week. So, first things first, as always, hydrate, moisturize, wash your face, set up your space. Old age makeup. First thing you're gonna do is give yourself a blank palette by putting your concealer on and putting your foundation on. You guys have done this a couple times now, so it's old. You'll notice this time I took time to put foundation over my lips and in my eyebrows. This is because we're going to be reshaping them with your wrinkles. Now, in your research for old age faces, I definitely recommend looking at a bunch of different kind of faces from middle-aged to very old-aged and craggy. I also recommend looking at your own family because that will give you a similar facial archetype and how that ages, because that will help you place your wrinkles if you can't find them yourselves. You'll also notice that I powdered my foundation just to set it because we're going to be layering a lot of contouring on. So the first contouring we're going to do is very basic contouring. As you age, the collagen or fat in your face starts to break down and your bone structure starts to protrude. So you'll see a lot of collapsing of your skin as you age. So we're gonna start with doing shadows under the cheekbone, at your temples, and then under your jawline, remembering just to give it a little bit of sag as that skin starts to relax and lose its elasticity. So I've got my shadow color and my highlight color, and I'm going to use these to block in big shadows. The other shadow I'm going to do is called the nasal labial fold, or your smile lines around your mouth. And lastly, it's going to be eyes. As you age, your eyes start to sink back into your skull. All that skin starts to relax and lose its elasticity, and down your nose. All right, and now we blend. Grim. So now that you've got your big shapes blocked in, now we're going to look for more specific wrinkles. Now, I definitely recommend pulling out 2 brushes for this. one that's going to have your shadow color on it and one that's going to have your highlight color. I like putting the highlight color on the smaller brush because you generally need just a little bit less of it. When you find a wrinkle, you're going to take your shadow color and you're going to go right, make a nice clean line right in that wrinkle. And then, cleaning that off, you're going to blend up so that you have the hard edge where you've drawn your wrinkle on one side and a soft edge that's been blended up on the other side. Then you're going to take your highlight brush and you're going to highlight just under that wrinkle. And you're going to blend that down. So every shadow gets a highlight and they end up with a nice hard edge in between. The best way to find your wrinkles, the wrinkles that fit your face, is to scrunch your face up. So being all young and fresh face as you are, you also may have to make up some wrinkles. I don't have a ton of forehead wrinkles, more than I used to have. So I'm going to start with my shadow. We're just going to taper those off. So you can see where the deepest part of the wrinkle is, and that's where the widest part of the line is. And the shallowest part of the wrinkle is where that tapers off. And this is where family research can get really useful. If you don't have a lot of wrinkles, look at research of someone in your family who has a similar face shape to you, and you can start to extrapolate what wrinkles might be suited to you. So basically, I'm manipulating my face and tracing the wrinkles that show up. All right. And lastly, you can go right down your neck and give yourself some nice little neck wrinkles. All right, now we've done all the shadows. I'm gonna take a moment and blend and then add my highlight. Notice that I did all of my blending with my brush instead of my sponge. This is to keep a nice clean line, so you still have that hard edge on one side and the softer edge on the other. If you try to blend with a sponge, you're just going to end up with a muddy mess. So next, I'm going to grab my little highlight brush, and every place I've got a shadow, a wrinkle, I'm going to put a little highlight. Now the highlight is going to be smaller than the shadow. So as your shadow blends out, your highlight's really just going to be centered and blended down. All right, now that I've got all my highlights painted in, I'm going to blend them again with my brush so I can keep the hard edge on one side and the soft edge on the other. All right, now I'm going to take a minute and step back and see if everything's in the right spot. Now, sometimes you want to put a darker shadow. So in your bruise wheel, you've got a purple. If you want to put a little bit of a darker shadow, especially in the eye socket, once you've got all your wrinkles placed, the next thing you want to do is look at your eyebrows. Now, old people eyebrows are both lighter, but you also want to keep their shape because you want to be able to see them from stage. So what I'll usually do is I'll take my eyebrow pencil, I will darken the bottom of my brows to give them a little bit of structure, and then you can take your highlight color and blend it into the top half of your brows. But if you're really itching to use the hair white that came in your kit, you want to make sure it's nice and mixed up. And you'll see it comes with a little applicator brush. If you want to brush a little bit and test it out, into your hairline or eyebrows, and this is where your eyebrow pencil or your eyebrow brush comes in useful, because you want to make sure that gets nice and blended in. If you are going to put this on your eyebrows, be very careful. I recommend covering your eye and applying it just very delicately to the top of your brow before combing it in. The other thing you can do to simulate skin damage is take your stipple sponge, grab a little bit of red, and stipple it across your nose and cheeks. Lastly, lips. So as you age, that nice crisp edge along your lips starts to collapse. So the edge of your lips starts to lose its shape. Oftentimes we won't lip line for old age makeup. We'll just take a little bit of your natural color, and usually I'll tone it down with a little bit of brown, and wrinkling up your lips you really lose that crisp edge and you keep it just a little bit darker, because the other thing that happens as you age is you lose your pigmentation. You lose all of that lovely melanin in your skin that makes you colored. Lastly, a little bit of eyeliner to pop your eyes out so people can see your eyes. Just a little bit of lighter colored eyeliner. You don't want a very dark eyeliner for this. All right, and there she is, a grim look into the future. And don't forget to powder. All right, now that you've got your old age base on, you can start to make character choices, like what sort of lipstick would your granny wear? Or would your grandpa have some old age spots? These are not the only things that you can do for your old age makeup, and clearly this is a relatively strong old age makeup, so be prepared to make character choices. Lastly, we're going to take our selfies, clean up our station, wash our face, and moisturize.